In Bloodmoon, the most dangerous thing on Solstheim isn't the cold, the werewolves, or even the Daedric Prince Hircine. It's the idea that the player is special enough to control the story. Released in June 2003 as the second expansion for the Elder Scrolls III, Morrowind, Bloodmoon sends the Nerevarine north to Solstheim, a frozen island caught between imperial ambition, Skald tradition, and something ancient stalking beneath the snow. On the surface, it is a werewolf story. But underneath, it is a story about the difference between being a hero and being prey. The expansion begins at Fort Frostmoth, the imperial outpost on Solstheim. Captain Falx Carius is struggling to keep his soldiers under control, and the player is asked to handle a series of relatively mundane problems involving morale, contraband, and suspicious activity around the fort. This opening is deliberately ordinary. The player arrives expecting another Imperial assignment, another opportunity to prove competence. Then the fort is attacked. Werewolves tear through the garrison, Captain Carius disappears, and the entire Imperial presence on the island suddenly looks fragile. The player is directed north toward the Skald village, where the local Nords have their own explanation for what is happening. They speak of the Bloodmoon prophecy, a cycle in which strange disturbances, unnatural beasts, and a red moon announce the return of Hircine, the Daedric Prince of the Hunt. This is the first major idea Bloodmoon establishes. The werewolf attacks are not random. They are symptoms. Something is disturbing the natural order of Solstheim, and both the Empire and the Skald have misunderstood their place within it. The Skald do not immediately trust the player. To earn an audience with their leader, Thorsten Hartfang, the player must complete a series of rituals and tests. These quests are more than a simple cultural initiation. They force the player to engage with the Skald worldview, where survival depends on respecting the balance between people, animals, spirits, and the land itself. That balance has been damaged by outside forces. The Empire is carving out territory, building forts, and establishing Raven Rock as an ebony mining colony. The Skald see this expansion as part of a larger disruption, and Bloodmoon makes their fear feel increasingly justified. The Empire believes Solstheim can be administered. The Skald understand that Solstheim cannot be completely owned. After the player completes the Skald's tests, the prophecy begins unfolding openly. Werewolves attack the village, Hartfang vanishes, and the player is infected with Sanni's lupinus, the disease of lycanthropy. This is where Bloodmoon's story makes its most important mechanical and thematic choice. The player can resist the curse, seek a cure, and continue helping the Skald. Or the player can accept the transformation and pursue the werewolf path, serving Hircine instead. The game does not treat lycanthropy as a simple upgrade or a punishment. It turns the player's identity into a story decision. On the Skald-aligned path, the player investigates the signs of the prophecy, recovers the totem of Claw and Fang, participates in the Ristag, and follows a trail of slaughtered animals and unnatural activity toward Castle Karstag. The island's mysteries gradually point toward the same conclusion. Hircine's influence is spreading, and someone powerful is helping his servants. On the werewolf path, the player embraces the role the prophecy seems to demand. Instead of defending the Skald from the curse, the player becomes part of the force attacking them. This branch is shorter and more brutal, but it makes the central conflict clearer. The question is not whether the player can defeat the monsters. The question is whether the player is willing to become one. Eventually, both paths converge. Hircine's prophecy comes true, and the player is taken to Mortrag Glacier to participate in the Great Hunt. This is where the expansion reveals its true villainous structure. Hircine is not simply invading Solstheim. He is staging a contest. The player is one of 4 chosen hunters, alongside Captain Falx Carius, Thorsten Hartfang, and the frost giant Karstag. Each represents a different kind of champion: imperial discipline, Skald leadership, monstrous strength, and the player's unpredictable potential. Hircine tells them that only one will survive the maze and earn the right to face him. That detail is crucial. Hircine does not initially treat the Nerevarine as a destined savior. He treats the player as entertainment. The maze inside Mortrang Glacier is therefore more than a final dungeon. It is Hircine's worldview made physical. The corridors are designed to separate, confuse, and exhaust the hunters. Alliances are temporary. Survival is the only rule. Depending on the player's choices, Captain Carius can be escorted through part of the maze, while Heartfang ultimately reveals his own connection to the werewolf curse and becomes an enemy. Karstag waits deeper within the glacier as another obstacle between the player and the final confrontation. By the time the player reaches the center, the Great Hunt has reduced every major power on Solstheim to the same condition, prey. And then Hircine offers one final choice. The player may fight an aspect based on strength, speed, or guile. Strength takes the form of a bear, speed becomes a wolf, and guile is Hircine's more balanced, intelligent aspect. The choice determines both the shape of the final battle and the reward received afterward, an amulet tied to strength or speed, or the Spear of the Hunter for guile. This choice is a neat mechanical summary of the entire expansion. Hircine asks what makes a hunter great. Is it power? Is it speed? Is it cunning? The player is not merely selecting a boss fight, they are selecting the quality by which they want to define their victory. Once the chosen aspect is defeated, Mortarang Glacier begins to collapse. The player escapes the hunting grounds, but Hircine is not destroyed in the same way Dagoth or Almalexia can be defeated. The player has beaten an aspect of him and survived his game. That is victory, but it is not conquest. The ending reinforces this. Hircine's presence remains larger than the battle, and the Bloodmoon cycle is not permanently erased. The hunt has ended, but the hunter still exists. In time, the implication is that another Bloodmoon, another prophecy, and another contest could come again. That may sound unsatisfying to anyone expecting the expansion to deliver a clean triumph. But Bloodmoon's ending works precisely because it refuses to make the Nerevarine all-powerful. In Morrowind, the player can become a figure of prophecy and reshape an entire province. On Solstheim, even that legendary hero can be kidnapped, placed in an arena, and forced to play by someone else's rules. The fair criticism is that Bloodmoon's branching choices eventually narrow into the same finale. Whether the player cures the disease or becomes a werewolf, the Great Hunt still arrives. But that structure is also the point. The player can choose an identity, an allegiance, and a philosophy, but cannot choose whether Solstheim is caught in Hircine's story. The prophecy is less a railroad than a trap closing from every direction. Bloodmoon's plot is memorable because the ending does not say, "You saved Solstheim forever." It says something colder. You survived the hunt. And for one brief moment, the hunter realized that the thing being hunted was Hircine himself. For more videos like this, stick around, subscribe, and give the video a like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.